Hi everybody, my name is Lydia Koku and I am a Sociology and Educational Studies Special Major. In preparation for my thesis, I Googled Black college student activism for images, and as we can see, the results show student protests from the 1960s onward, focusing on demonstrations for Vietnam and civil rights reform, as well as the student protests at Mizzou between 2015 and 2016. I was interested to see that these forms of activism were particularly uplifted in my search. For my thesis, I interviewed 10 Black students from Bryn Mawr and Swarthmore about how they respond to racism through on-campus activism. Though activism is broadly defined as any action taken to affect social, political, economic, and/or environmental change, the images projected on this slide suggest that protests, boycotts, and demonstrations dominate social thought as activism. So if my participants adopted this limited definition of activism, I asked, how do they make meaning of their extracurricular involvements on campus? Though I identified 3 different ways that this process of meaning construction takes place, today I will share one key finding. Although activism manifests in various forms such as education, informed voting, and advocacy, 7 of 10 participants solely aligned with the definition depicted on this slide. And what that suggests is that they felt external pressure to embody this activist role on their campuses for fear that not leading the demonstration or not attending the protest would invalidate their Blackness and their commitment to their community, as well as their commitments to issues of racial injustice at large. However, this finding is not as surprising as I initially expected it to be. Research notes that, especially for students from marginalized backgrounds, one of the primary challenges they face upon arriving at college is demonstrating a commitment to political and civic engagement. So I propose that one of the reasons why Black students struggle with this challenge is because of an expectation they have internalized to engage in only specific types of political action. Adopting a single definition of activism led my interviewees to believe that the poetry they wrote and the mentoring organizations they started did not count as activism. For example, Amina, a senior at Swarthmore, states that even though she as an introvert isn't the type to protest, it's necessary to engage in these types of loud frontline activism for everyone to see that this is who you are. Her statement suggests that regardless of how she truly feels about her work, she believes that the validity of her Blackness is contingent on how visible her politics are. Black students attending elite institutions thus do not have access to the privilege of individualism. They contend with the pressure to represent their group as well as come to consensus about the messages they transmit to the larger community. Black students carry this undue burden of performing allyship and leadership, which leads to an increased sense of isolation and unbelonging on their campuses. I conclude that institutions and community members need to affirm and validate Black students in all of their work, and better support them by systematically reducing the labors they are forced to bear. Thank you very much.